Hello and welcome back to First Impressions. This is the show where my co-host Dash Hooper and I evaluate a new album each week with a few simple ground rules. First, must be an album we've never heard before, and that definitely was easy today. And second, we're only allowed to play it once, although it's in Spanish for, I guess, spoilers if you don't know. So I had to play this one a heck of a lot more than normal because I had to play it and then translate it. And yeah, I found some discoveries. I'm going to wait and hold out till we get in there. But after that, we take notes, rate it in a variety of categories. And tonight, the album we're going to be looking at is Mi Sangre by Juanes, the album from 2004. So, Dash, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing splendid. I'm probably going to be the only one that likes this album.
I don't know. I mean, I had moments. I had parts that I thought were really strong and other things, but well, we don't want to get into spoilers just yet, but
yeah, not yet.
Yeah, we'll definitely have some notes like always. I think 15 pages. This might be my top level of notes for this show.
Woo.
So yeah, just huge amounts of notes for today. Like a lot of it's translating. Like, okay, you listen to the album first time, it is truly just vibes. I mean, it is. What can you have? I'm not a native Spanish speaker, so it is pure vibes, and then you got to try to dig into the lyrics and everything else. So yeah, it was interesting coming at it from that way.
There were times I had one earphone in and I was going, all right, and then I would say the phrase or the chorus, and I'd look over at Lorena. What does that mean?
Yeah, see, and I don't have that luxury because April can speak French, but can't give me Spanish translation. So she was on there. She was listening to it on the couch with me. So we were both enjoying that one. So yes, so she listened to it, and yeah, it was interesting. I listen to other music in different languages, and sometimes I don't even bother translating. I'm like, I'm just feeling these vibes. I don't need to know what they're saying. Might ruin it for me. I have a album by this Russian dark wave artist, that's Stereofina, I think her name is, and I don't have an idea of what she said. I never bothered to translate it. So yeah, it was just the vibes. This time, since we are going to be discussing it, if we talked about vibes, like, all right, 5 minutes, show's over, have a good night, we'll see you next week. But I had to dig into the lyrics and actually decipher what our man Juanes was talking about. So yes, April said she felt bad for him because he was heartbroken. He's a heartbroken dude, but yeah, I mean, you can feel the heartbreak in these lyrics without knowing what they're saying. You know, okay, this is not, you're not singing about how happy he is right now. This is heartache and sorrow and sadness, and then sometimes not. But yeah, it was an interesting one.
He was in love with someone, and someone was not being reciprocated,
yes,
for real.
I saw that, and then there's one song. Like I said, I'm gonna wait till we get to it, but we will get, once we get to our songs to keep, skip, and then our lyrics. All the lyrics will be translated to English with. I searched a lot of different websites, and what was the one I said was good?
Songlation.
So the translations we're getting came from Songlations. So if we got anything wrong, drop a comment. If you're a native Spanish speaker, if you know Juanes, Melissa, my student teacher, if she knows what I got wrong, what I got right, you can drop it in there, because this was her request. We're going on a string of requests over this next little bit of time. So she said she wanted to throw her arms around this guy and give him a big hug. So yes, kind of like Curtis said. We said the same thing.
Yeah. I watched the video for Para Tu Amor, and you could. It was the one I watched was kind of live, but you could feel the energy even in the video. You could feel the energy for that song of what he felt. So
Yes.
Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. We could feel his energy even if we couldn't understand his lyrics. And then when you understand his lyrics, he's got some really strong lyrics and some really surface level. He's not Joe Walshing us with the most basic surface level lyrics or bad companying us. So at least we have that. So
Yacht rock, yacht rock, yacht rock.
April knows she's banned from requests. So we've already pre-established that she's banned from requests, or is it like Sonic Youth Marathon in the car? There are ways of getting revenge. So yes, you like Kim Gordon. It's all the Kim Gordon songs. We're not even going to play the Thurston ones.
Nice.
So all right. So let's start as we always do with our history of the artist. And I'm already going to pre-apologize because I'm going to mispronounce some stuff. I will do my best with my poor translation, and I'll try to kind of give you the best I can. So Juanes was born Juan Esteban, and here's where I already butcher some stuff. It's Aristizabal, and I know I fucked that up, and I apologize. And he was born on August 9th in 1972 in Medellin, Colombia. Again, I'm sure I mispronounced that. And he is a Grammy-winning singer, songwriter, and musician. And he's known for blending rock with Latin American rhythms. So his music career began in a metal band. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear the Juanes metal band. I mean, I know Spotify exists, and it wouldn't take me that much time and effort to dig out the Juanes metal band, but it was called, and again, I'm going to apologize all show. It's Equimosis, I believe, and that was in the 1980s, and he was gaining popularity with his metal band and then decided to go solo in the 1990s. You don't hear much metal in this album, I'll say that much. It's got guitars, I guess, but it's not, I wouldn't go as metal.
I feel this is more pop. This album felt very popish, very, very at the time, so it's definitely a 2000s album. Yes. And you can hear the 2000 music in it.
Yeah, it's definitely 2000s, just kind of 2000s pop rock. It's I wouldn't even go so deep into the Latin. Some songs, yes, but a lot are just kind of, they could be played on American stations if they were sung in English, and they wouldn't be out of place. And that's something I got a few notes on that when we get there. So Juanes released his debut solo album, Fíjate Bien, in the year 2000, and he earned 3 Latin Grammy Awards. He's won a shit ton of Latin Grammys, so he's got himself a collection. He needs to build himself a strong shelf in a stud, because that will fall down with all the Latin Grammys this guy has.
Oh, for real.
He made another album, his second album, in 2002, Un Día Normal. I know that, a normal day. And it catapulted him to huge international fame. He had huge hits with Adios La Lipedo or Lapido. I'm really butchering.
You're good. You're doing fine. Don't worry about it.
I apologize. I understand Spanish decently. I mean, I took friggin' 6 years of Spanish between high school and college. I shouldn't be this inept, yet I am. So I will try my best. That's all I can give you. And then Es Por Ti, that was his next out, one of his other hits. And then he followed it up with the album we're listening to today, Mi Sangre, My Blood, which was released in 2004, and La Vida es un Ratación in 2007, and had more, still kept racking up the Latin Grammys. I don't know exactly how many he won. I know how many he won for the album we're looking at, but he has won a lot. So beyond his music, Juanes is known for his humanitarian work. He's advocating for peace and landmine control in Colombia. And some of these songs actually touch on the landmines and the what's going on in Colombia, and listening to them on the vibe level without knowing the lyrics, you kind of miss that. And then you look at those lyrics, you're like, okay, his country is dealing with a lot, and he is a huge advocate who puts money into trying to save victims of these landmines that in these jungles that they've become victim to that. So he's still huge in Latin rock. I know he's still putting out albums, selling albums, winning Grammys. So he is definitely huge to that, despite the fact that I knew nothing about him before it was suggested in the comments by my student teacher. And yeah, it was an interesting thing to kind of dive into that. So let's now talk about the history of this album in particular. So that is Mi Sangre from 2004. So this album was released on September 28th, and translated, it's My Blood, if you didn't know. And this was his third studio album, and it kind of brought him over the top. So his previous album did well, and it kind of brought him popularity. This catapulted him even further. And has introspective lyrics, very lovelorn lyrics. He's either deeply in love or deeply in sorrow for the loss of his love. And he also has socially conscious lyrics where he's talking about the state of his country and what's going on. And it blends Latin rock, pop, and traditional Colombian rhythms. A lot of just kind of standard, I guess, I don't even know. I wouldn't call it soft rock, just pop rock, I guess.
Yeah,
it's a lot of just kind of standard pop rock. And you hear that where even if it weren't Latin, it would still have the same vibes. You could throw it on US radio, and then some of it does have more of the Latin vibes in it.
I will say this: if this was the 70s and the 80s, it would fall into yacht rock. There we go. We got our yacht rock, April, Miss Davis. We got it. We're good.
Yeah,
we got it in there.
Parts of it, I would say yes. I think more like what I compared it to when we get into it. I think more like Maroon 5, Goo Goo Dolls, that kind of lane of kind of toothless rock is what I would kind of put it in.
Goo Goo Dolls is exactly who I had pictured when I'm listening to it. Like who would make this sound? And Goo Goo Dolls was perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I hear kind of that. It's kind of in that lane of kind of safe pop rock that sells tons of albums. So, what do I know in the end? But yeah, that's kind of what I was comparing it to as I listened through. So the album sold 4 million copies worldwide and won three Latin Grammys this time, including Best Rock Album. And then the major hits, La Camisa Negra, that was the biggest hit of the album, and it just had the catchy melody, and it said controversial lyrics, although even when I read the lyrics, I wouldn't really go controversially on that. There was one, I'm like, all right, there was one that was definitely more controversial. The Nada Valgo Sin Tu Amor, that was the album that won Best Rock Song on this.
Yeah.
So he won that.
Which surprises me.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that one of the stronger songs. I was surprised that one won. There's better cuts on the album.
Yeah. It was a good song, but I still think Para Tu More is the best song on this album when we get to that. But I jumped ahead. But But
spoiler alert.
Yeah, look, I didn't find anything controversial, like you said, as we went, as I went and translated some of these. But I mean, I guess in 2004, maybe.
I don't know. We weren't that. I mean, 2004, we had. I guess it just depends on where it's released. I guess in the Latin community, maybe. But I don't know. I mean, once we get to it, he's got another song that should have been making people a little squeamish, but it wasn't that one. So Volverte Ver, that was another hit, and that one has a video I haven't watched, and I believe that one won for best video. So
best video, yeah.
Yeah, so one was best album, one was best song, and one was best video. So yeah, it won multiple awards for those songs. And then even though I wouldn't necessarily say those were the best songs, those were the ones that won, but that's always seems to be the truth. I mean, you listen to an album and the songs that end up being the massive radio hits and the the ones that are the most well-known aren't necessarily the best. I mean, I guess I'm a deep cuts kind of person when it comes to the albums I love, and the ones on the radio are the ones you tend to get tired of and you don't even want to hear anymore. So
Right.
I don't know if that's the Juanes fan base out there, if these hits are the ones you kind of throw away. So if you are a big Juanes fan, drop it in the comments. What's your favorite song from this album or any of his albums? Because I was listening to this album and it popped up one of his new songs, and I was like, damn, that's a freaking jam right there. It was a Amara Me, and he did a collaboration with Maury Laferte, and I was like, damn, that shit rocks. I like that song. I put it in my like list. Like, my Spotify is gonna think I've lost my mind when the rap. Like, I am so curious to see what ends up happening when the Wrapped comes out at the end of the year. Spotify's gonna be like, dude, we can't get a gauge on what you like because you like it for a week, then you stop liking it. So
you're all over the place.
Spotify's gonna think I've lost my mind, and maybe it's right. But yeah, it's gonna be like, it's gonna go from Flamingo Overlord to Mi Sangre to Bear versus Shark to whatever we're playing that week repetitively, so I can get it really down. And yeah, Spotify Wrapped is gonna be crazy. Already when I play the Spotify DJ, it's like, here's some stuff you've been vibing on lately, and I was like, oh no, I was not vibing on that. Do not play more Joe Walsh. Stop that shit. Knock it off. But then it realizes I'm vibing on something else. So, all right. So, thank you. That he says he impressed with the depth of knowledge regarding the albums. Yeah, I do. I do research. I don't do
research.
Deepest research, but I try to know at least some of what's going on with the album. So, thank you for that. I do my best, and certain ones, like when we did what was it? My Chemical Romance, I had a lot more because I had read that book. So I was actually a lot deeper with what I knew. So so more Joe Walsh. You left the room. April says more Joe Walsh. No more Joe Walsh. Okay. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Do you really want more Joe Walsh? Because you left the room. I was the only one that made it through that. That was one of those clear the room albums. Like Rocky Mountain Way. Oh yeah, I'm feeling this. Yeah, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go take a shower. See you later.
Even my dogs left the room for that one.
Yeah,
even my dogs.
Full abandonment for the Joe Walsh. So yeah, no more Joe Walsh. Yes, we'll avoid that one, and let's move on to our next category: reviews. This was harder. It's a Latin album, so that means it wasn't reviewed by Rolling Stone or Pitchfork. So we weren't able to pull up a Metacritic for it. So I just had to kind of go with what I found from the internet with this one. So with that said, let's see. It received says mixed reviews, largely positive. I mean, it won a lot of Grammys, so obviously it had its fan base. They praised his songwriting, they praised his musical fusion, his emotional delivery, and they appreciated how it combined the Latin rock with traditional Colombian rhythms like, here we go again, Vallenato or Vallenato and cumbia. So they said it was accessible and authentic. So they liked his lyrics to tackle deep subjects like love, loss, and the violence in his homeland of Colombia, with poetic and heartfelt lyrics. La Camisa Negra was controversial for its dark tone. I'm like, I guess, I don't know. At this point, I was listening to 9 Inch Nails, and it's like,
right,
yeah, you're not gonna move me with the dark tone of a kind of sad song about your woman cheating on you. And his vocal performance was praised. One of the things that they said, some of the critics who were more critical of it said that it had strong singles, but the deeper tracks lacked the same depth and the same power. So they didn't think that it had as strong of deep cuts. But I mean, I don't know, because I never heard the singles. Everything was new to me.
Critics are wrong.
Yeah, Pitchfork will give it like a 6.2, but that's just how they roll. And then they thought it was some thought the production was too clean. Maybe that was his old metal fans, because we always find those. Yeah. You were better when you were fill in the blank. Although I don't think anyone was saying Dio, going to those where you deal. No one's saying he was better when he was blues. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, you're always going to get those people saying, oh, that's too clean, it's too produced, it's too slick, because they want something more raw, especially if they came up listening to him in the 80s with his metal. And then AllMusic and Billboard praised it as a mature, polished follow-up to his previous album. And it was obviously, we talked about 4 million copies worldwide. That is a great success, especially that's the era where kind of became that's when Napster was taking over. So album sales were a lot harder to get. So selling 4 million in the 2000s is a lot greater feat than it used to be. Because once streaming, well, not even streaming, just people could go on Napster and steal it, a lot of people stopped buying. So he was selling 4 million copies when it was a time much more difficult to sell albums. So, yeah, there's a little history of the album. Now, this will be an easy one. What's your history with Juanes?
I mean, I had a little bit. I knew a couple of songs from this album, just due to the fact that I was deployed and friends of mine had some of the songs. Like we pass our hard drives around with music and you download. So I knew a few of the songs just from because of the time frame. So that's pretty much my history, other than really knowing that I had seen him on certain Grammy shows and things like that. When I actually still watch the Grammys, I haven't watched them, but I haven't watched an award show since like at the end of the 2000s, probably 2008 or 2009 is the last time I watched. But
it's been a while for me
and
too.
And it's because I got busy. It has nothing else to do with anything. Now I'm retired. I can do that.
I'm just gonna call you out. No, that's because they suck.
Well, I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, you can be nice. They can flame me. Let's go. I'm ready for you. They suck ass. That's why I don't watch them. There's still moments, though. I mean, but here's the thing: you can find those moments the next day and not have to trudge through all the garbage. Like when Tracy Chapman did the duet, that was on one of the shows, and I was that was amazing, and the crowd wasn't ready for her to come out, and it was a beautiful moment that I was able to watch on YouTube and not have to watch the rest of the slog that is all those shows. But yeah, that I guess it's easier to consume in small bites now, because here's the good things that happened, ignore the rest. So
I think a lot of it has to do with I don't want to see a certain singer that I will not name, because I don't want my friend to come beat me up because I'm talking bad about their favorite singer songwriter.
See, I mean, she wasn't after me about Taylor Swift. If she was the Kate Bush fan, we shall not speak her name. So yeah, if she was a Kate Bush fan, she'd be coming at me with a machete right about now.
She would be.
But she's a Swiftie, and I was kind to the Swifties. I wanted that album to have more edge. Like, give it some teeth. Everything. Well,
definitely no history.
And I'm not here for that. So yeah,
no history as far as like in-depth history.
Yeah. I have zero history. My student teacher suggested this, and I said we do requests. So here we are. We're doing it. And before that, I honestly didn't even know his name, because I had given up on the award shows quite a while ago. And honestly, even if I was watching the award show, they were going to do, the best foreign language album, and I probably wasn't going to be paying much attention, because it would be something that I had no familiarity with. Not to say it's bad, it's just I don't know it. So that's bathroom break time. Like, okay, here's the category I don't care about. I'm gonna go hit the bathroom, or best classical music album or something like that. That's the stuff that I'm just gonna kind of move right through and not pay that much attention to. So I knew nothing of him. I didn't even know the name before this, but yeah, I mean, now I know. I can't say I'm sorry that I know this album. There's other ones that we can say that about, but I'm not in that place for this one.
Right.
All right. So overall thoughts. What were your overall thoughts with this one?
So I grew a love for Latin music when I was stationed in Panama from
Mhm.
94 to 90, what was it, 96, 97, somewhere around there. So I grew a love for Latin music. So because that's a lot of it, pretty much all that plays down there. Unless you're
Mhm.
listening to Armed Forces Network, then you'll get the top 40 and stuff like that. But um, so I mean, I may not know all the words, but I can feel it, if that
Mhm.
makes any sense to anybody. And from the moment this started with the opening song with Amame, um, and you go and I thought Amame was really upbeat. You're starting off really good, and then you go right into Para tu Amor, and you give me some feeling, and then you get into some this one might be controversial, Suenos. I guess if we're going to talk about controversial, this was very much one of his activists, his political statements in that song. But man, I just felt like every song, and if anybody's been watching this show for 28 shows now, you know that I love to get the dash head bob, and I like to get up, and every one of these songs got me up.
Mhm.
I'm sitting there doing the stationary cha cha and tango and moving around to every one of these songs, and that's what I like about this album. So again, that was my first listen. I'm listening to the music. I'm trying to get in touch with it, and then you go and then look at the lyrics later and listen. Once on again, you got to forgive us on this one. This is not one that we can just listen to once and understand the lyrics or try to understand lyrics. You got to give it a second listen. So I listened to it and went into the lyrics, and again, asking my wife, who's Latina herself, and so you're asking. I'm like, all right, what is, I can translate a little bit of it and know what some of it means,
Mhm.
and then there's sometimes I'm like, oh, he's got the slang, because again, there's different slang for different parts of the
Mhm.
Latin community. So Mexicans have one way, Puerto Ricans another way, Cubanos another way. Everybody has a different way of saying the same word, so you may get some slang in there.
Mhm.
But I just loved, you know, I really enjoyed this album, and I loved a lot of the songs, even before knowing what some of the lyrics meant, because I think you
Yeah.
can, like your wife said, there's songs that you can feel the heartbreak, and you can feel that he's in love with someone, and so I felt that, and I like that when you can do that with the song and music. And it was I harken us back to a few different albums that we've listened to, back to Elf, back to Lady Gaga. You might not like those artists, but they definitely put out songs that that you can feel, and you vibe to. Marvin Gaye, another one that we listened to, where you're just vibing with the music, and you can hear the lyrics, but you're vibing with it. And you brought it up, vibing, and I could vibe to
Mhm.
this album. So overall
Yeah.
thoughts is this was a fun listen to. If I can get up and dance and get up and maybe not pronounce them right, but sing to the top of my lungs, I
Yes.
feel like this is a really good album. So my overall thoughts is I enjoyed this very much.
All right. So yeah, for mine, I just said when I play an album in another language, lyrics are secondary, and it's all about vibes. So
Yeah.
it's creating vibes, and this album has strong vibes. It kept me engaged despite not being able to understand or connect with the lyrics initially. He builds emotion with his rhythms and his vocal delivery. And I was saying before, April was on the couch, oh, through parts of the album because she's like, he's so sad. And we don't know what the hell he's singing, but we know that poor dude, he's
Yeah.
sad right now. So, it's like Beth Gibbons during the Portishead album. If that were sung in Spanish, we would still be able to feel the emotions. If you were listening to that album and you were from somewhere else and it was not in your native language, you would be able to feel the emotions kind of pouring out. And that's what was going on in this one. You could feel his pain, and you then can look up the lyrics and figure out what's actually happening with everything. So yeah, I felt the vibes. It was the initial way that I'd have to come to it is pure vibes, but once I got into those vibes, I was feeling it. And for you, you have the Bob test. For me, I have the run test. So I did put it to the run test yesterday, and yeah, it was good. The primarily the songs in there had enough movement where it could keep you running. There's a couple slow ones, lighter jams, but the lighter jams are not so great for running. Not to say they're not good songs, but they're just not built for running. But otherwise, yeah, it was strong. I enjoyed it. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts.
Very good.
All right, so best song. God. What's one that stood out to you?
Again, I know La Camisa Negra is probably the best song on the album as voted by their Grammy, but Para tu Amor, you feel it, and you feel it from the minute that opening line starts. And so that one's my favorite song. I did love Nada Vago Sin Tu Amor. Sueños was good. And then right there towards the end, I Que Pasa. It's basically what it is. What's happening? What's going on? And we'll get into the lyrics here in a little bit. But I just like that one, and and the last one. This was one where, though we talk a lot about our how they start the album out and how they finish. Tu Guardian is not so much a strong finish for an album. I would have moved it up and finished it with probably Volverte a Ver, or even Que Pasa. Finished it with that one, but Tu Guardian is still a good song.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one of my favorite ones as well. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them, I picked a lot of them with as your wife was saying, is with his heart being on a string. He definitely left his heart on his sleeve in a lot of songs in this album, and I think that's why I really enjoyed those. But again, there was a lot of repeats for me, and not because I wanted to understand the lyrics. It's because I liked it. So after I did my initial and then went back and did the listen to for the lyric to understand the lyrics, I had a lot of repeats, and that's a testament to those songs. So and I haven't said that about a lot of the albums that we've listened to, but this one is one that I did a lot of repeats to, not because I needed to understand the words, but because I finally did understand the words and I knew what he was singing about. So those are some of my favorites right there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. I La Camisa Negra was the first song that really grabbed me. I think the beginning, it was fine. I don't have any problem with it, but I think the fact that it felt more kind of Maroon 5 Goo Goo Doll-ish to me. It didn't have that Latin vibe, and that's the thing that I really like when I'm listening to a Latin album or any album, is what's the vibe that's coming from that particular country and style of music. And this is the first one that I felt that vibe right in it, kind of broke out of that Maroon 5 that was going on it. And people like Maroon 5, they like Goo Goo Dolls, and good for them. I then translated the lyrics, and it's like, all right, I don't see the controversy. All right, he caught his girl cheating, and he's sad. Yeah. It's pretty much that. And yet here I am, like, bobbing along. Like, this is the saddest lyrics. It's about his bouncing around.
But it's about his black shirt. That's all I say.
Yeah. I mean, and I got a lot of black shirts, so I'm feeling him on that one. So yes, I own many black shirts, just like him. But mine are not sad black shirts. They're just, me being one-dimensional, I suppose. So let's see. What was another one I had? I had No Siento Peñas, and that one, it kind of, to me, that one felt Beatlesque in the chorus, where it's kind of, I was singing that damn song in Spanish, walking around the campus. Like, I have no idea what I'm singing right now, because I didn't even look at the lyrics till earlier today. I waited because I really wanted to just get the songs and the vibes. Rosario Tijeras. I'm sure I messed it up.
That was a good one.
No, but I like that one. That kind of, I said it's kind of got that smooth Latin rhythm. It had a guitar solo that was to me, it said Santana meets the Hotel California guitar solo.
Yes.
So I heard that, and I'm like, as much as I'll talk shit about the Eagles, that's a great guitar solo in Hotel California. That is an undeniably good guitar solo provided by Joe Walsh. Props to that. And you know, I say very little nice things about the Eagles, but I will fully admit that that's a really good guitar solo. And it felt like that, but kind of Latin infused Hotel California vibes. And also when I finally looked up the lyrics, it was about, you know, kind of a murder ballad, but more of just a ballad of this woman who was not to be fucked with, you know. Do not mess with Rosario Tijeras.
I want everybody watching episode 28 at time 35 something, 35, we'll say 35 to 36 timestamp. Mm-hmm. Ed said something good about the Eagles. I want that marked down in history. When they do a history book about our show, when our biography comes out about our show, I want that time stamped into one chapter where Ed said something good about the Eagles.
Yeah, then we have I guess we have one full chapter about my other feelings about the Eagles, and yeah. But there you go. My one nice thing. So I will say yes. There, it's a good.
This show never ceases to amaze me. Something always pops up, and that's fantastic.
It's a Festivus miracle.
It is a Festivus miracle. Yeah,
that's it. I will say nothing nice. I will say nothing else nice this show about the Eagles, but that guitar solo is good, and it kind of I reminded me of that guitar solo, and I mean, it's undeniable that guitar solo is strong, but that's it. We reached our quota of nice things about the Eagles today. Quota for my lifetime. All right. So what other song did I have on here?
I'm getting you an Eagles shirt for Christmas now.
Yeah. That's my high school alma mater. I'll take a high school Etowanda Eagles shirt. I'll wear that with pride. Rock that.
Eagle pride.
So yes, and then Volver Te Ver. That one was another one. The chorus is just kind of stuck in my head. I enjoyed that one. And again, I didn't look up the lyrics. And even when I did that one, I was like, okay, those lyrics aren't that amazing. But the chorus, the catchiness of it, goodness gracious. It is just earworm, no matter what language it's in, no matter what language you speak, that one's going to get stuck in your head. And then I did like To Guardian. I thought it was a nice love song. And it was the kind of, you know, the big sweeping strings and the big build. It's the kind of song you could drop in a romance movie when the protagonist is about to declare his love for the woman or the man that they wronged in some way. And this is the time for that redemption. You could drop this song into any movie in any language, and people are going to feel the power and the vibes. And they're going to be crying because that scene and those sweeping, swelling strings are going to be weeping on their couches with this song. So yeah, it was successful, not knowing what he's saying, not worrying about what he's saying, but just the power and the emotion. You could put it into any nice romance drama movie in that scene where you need to have things finally come back together and they finally fall in love properly and get past all the obstacles. To Guardian, that's the song I would drop in. So if I'm working music for a movie, To Guardians going right in there. So yeah, nice. I liked those ones. So let's get into our next category, best lyrics, and these are translated from our songlations. And I found that it was pretty good because there were even comments in the comment section where they would say it's actually more like this or actually more like that as a native speaker from Colombia. So they helped with some of the slang and things like that were going on with it. So what were some lyrics that stood out to you?
Oh, again, I'm gonna go to my favorite song, Para tu amor. Para tu amor, lo tengo todo. I did that, just that whole vibe, man, in Spanish. Whew. But for your love, I have everything. So he starts off, he's telling this woman, for your love, I have everything. For my blood, So again, he's giving everything to this woman. The essence of his being. Uh, uh, your love is my treasure. I have my whole life at your feet. He is laying everything he has to this woman right there. I just love that, and I'm a sucker for a good love song. If you go back to a lot of the albums we've listened to, I'm a sucker for a good love song. For your love, there are no goodbyes. For your love, I only have eternity. I just, again, we get it back to Spanish. I just love the way it flows. This would flow well in English, but it flows. The words flow so well in Spanish. I loved it. And then we're gonna go back to. You talked about it. Volverte a ver, to see you again. This guy, he's in love, and I would give up everything to see you again. I would give up my life and my rifle, my boots, and my face. So this is like I still think there's some activism in this song a little bit because he is talking about the rifle and his boots. There's a lot of stuff going on in Colombia. But this is a soldier that I think is ready to go home. He's ready to go back to his love. And so, if you've been deployed or you've been in the military, you know that you miss your loved ones, and you would. There's times where you sat there and you're in your deployed location going, I would do anything to get home just to be with my family and my family. I love it. And then, and if not for you, I couldn't live in the vacuum of these days without knowing. And if not for you, I wouldn't be happy like I am when I leave with your kisses. It's a powerful song. And it's not so much, it's not like what you'd call a typical slow love song, but it's a love song, and it's got a great tune and a great melody to it. I love that one. And then again, I'll bring up, where did it go? You talked about it, like Mi Sangre. This dude starts off the song. It's not for being poor or ugly that you cheated on me, basically. It's just but for longing. So I guess I don't know if he was away. I still don't get a whole lot of this one, but he's wearing his black shirt because he's in mourning.
Yes.
He's not happy. He's sad, and it's the fault of your witchcraft. He's talking about witchcraft, and I just thought it was a good song, and the lyrics. But everyone, man, this is another album. I've done this the last few albums that we've talked about with Elf, and then with Trollfest last week, and this one, there's not a song that I just did not enjoy some sort of whether it was the choruses or and especially those love songs. He writes really good lyrics, and you feel them. Even and again in Spanish, you feel them, and that's if you've taken like you said, you took 6 years of Spanish. I took 2 years plus. My wife is a Spanish speaker, so you learn, and you get to connect with some of these words and the phrases, and then just the way his voice carries those words.
Yeah.
So those are some of my favorite lyrics.
Yeah. So the first song, the Amame, this is one of his I'm missing you, I need you songs, and his lyrics, your silence is like a termite that slowly eats my heart. I'm like, friggin' preach, poet.
Yeah.
I would just be saying, I'm so sad without you, because we friggin' trolls when we're trying to express our emotions, but he's like a termite that slowly eats my heart. It's like, damn. Yeah. That is deep. And then, because without you, my heart is an abyss as deep as the sea, and a second is an eternity. Like, all right, my man.
Yeah.
You are
He's poet. A dog. He's a good dog, though. He's a dog.
Yeah, he's like, all right, you're gonna say that kind of shit. But like, all right, never mind. She's coming back to him. She's gonna get some Neanderthal like me and be like, all right, never mind. That guy just said, I'm very sad. No, and he's like, no, your silence is a termite. Like, all right, I'm over here trying to be deep, and he's burying us in his deepness. So, yeah, I love those lyrics. With the Sueños, with listening to it, you would not have picked up what it's about. And that was telling about the struggles of his country. So I dream of liberty for all those who are kidnapped today in the middle of the jungle. And it's just like, damn, they are dealing with some crazy, terrible shit out there. And he's talking about it and trying to bring it in there. And then Que Pasa, that's another one where he's fleeing for his country. Like, what happened, I ask? I ask what happened in the world today. I read the same news of horror. Live silence for no reason. Why is there so much war? Why is there so much sorrow? What will it be? What will it be, I ask? I ask, what will it be if there is no love? And instead of embracing each other, we shoot each other. And yeah, that's just, oh my gosh. It's deep and it's powerful and it's, you know, beyond just, you know, I miss my woman. She cheated on me, whatever it may be. He's also, his heart is broken for his country and the turmoil that the people are having to go through. So I love the lyrics in that one.
That's why I felt that should have been the close. I mean, not that it, like I said, that To Guardian is a bad song. Que Pasa ends that song. It's powerful. And he went through this whole album. And I think to me, I would have ended on that one.
Yeah.
Man.
A quick resequencing. We've done that before on the show, resequence in a way that we think would make it more powerful. And I think, that as a closer could add more impact. But now we need to dig into something. The next song is, you know me, I'm always digging for the horny lyrics.
The horny lyrics.
And
here it is.
Is the horniest song we've ever covered. These lyrics, I'm like, holy shit, how am I going to get through reading these ones?
I know, I don't even need to.
This is fucking 2 Live Crew level song. And it's like disguised in its Latin rhythms, but he's hitting as the horniest song of all time that we have covered on the show. We've covered them. I mean, I'm always searching for the horny lyrics. And when I translated this one, I was like, damn, okay. Yeah. So here we go. Translated for your enjoyment. What do I have to do to have in my lips those pretty lips of yours? What do I have to do to have of your taste a little? So, you know, you get your kind of wonky translation. All right, that's not so horny. We're not done. What do I have to do in my hands, that pretty little body of yours? What do I have to do of your taste a little? So, all right, getting hornier. Tonight, I want to get to know you. Am I sure that you also tonight want to get to know me? So there is no time to lose. We're not there yet, but here we are.
Here it is, right here.
What do I have to feel between my legs, the brushing of your divine legs? What do I have to smell of your scent a little? Like, all right, damn. Like, Luke Skywalker from 2 Live Crew is blushing right now.
Tell him the name of that song.
This song, what was it? It's Damelo.
Damelo.
And then we're not done. What do I have to do to get to the magic that you hide in your divine jungle? What do I have to do to get in my favorite place? All right, my man. You have won the record. I'll give you another Grammy, horniest song. If they have that Grammy, you win.
Is it? I like the literal translation of the song is give me or Damelo. I think Damelo is the literal translation is give it to me. I think if I remember right.
Yeah, it would make sense. Like I said, the boys from 2 Live Crew are blushing when they hear that. They realize they're just horny dudes. They have no poetry. He's like, all right, I will be the horny dude and a poet. So I'm going to make you guys feel a little awkward. So I'm like, all right. I read that one. I'm like, all right, we finally have a winner.
Would you if you guys ever go listen to a foreign language, a lot of these sites will tell you exactly, they'll break it kind of down what the song is about. And this is just the breakdown or just the quick synopsis. Juanes wants to seduce a woman and get to know her tonight. That is the literal synopsis of that song, Ed. But Damelo, it was good. It really, I mean, it was a good song. but that might hit the blur. That might make Blurry Alan Rickman blush.
Yeah, Blurry Alan Rickman's like, he put his beard down. He's like, ooh, damn. I'm blushing, and I can't compete with that. Blurry Alan Rickman's going home. He's going to retire for the night.
I've had enough.
Yeah.
You can see the blush even on the Blurry Alan Rickman. You can see the blush.
Yes. Oh, yes. His blurry picture will blush. Yeah. So, and it's funny because when I heard my original notes was all right. It sounded like Maroon 5 and an anime theme song. And then I said, toothless mid-tempo rock. Then I translated. I'm like, I retract that statement. I apologize. Maroon 5 never hit that level of horny depth. And yeah, so Mr. Juanes, I apologize for calling that song toothless mid-tempo rock. It's got teeth, and every one of those teeth is horny as hell. So yes. It no longer is my one skip song. It was my skip, but the skip has been undone. As soon as I read the lyrics, I'm like, all right, I guess you just got to get all of it. And then, it's like, okay. It's no longer a skip.
It's a fantastic song, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, just go listen to it. And now that you know the theme behind it, it just makes it even better. I think it does.
It does sound like an anime theme song to me.
Yeah.
It does sound like one that could be opening up a random anime, and it has that kind of that anime guitar. I don't know. It's hard to explain it if you watch
just have
anime.
to know.
You know what I'm talking about. If you don't watch animes, you're like, okay, this guy has further lost his mind. But no, it sounds like an anime theme song. But calling it toothless, how did I know how many teeth this damn thing had? I just, vibe-wise, it felt toothless. And then all of a sudden, the vibes proved me wrong when it came to the lyrical content. So yes, this dude, I'm sure when he plays his concert, there are many screaming, swooning women, and he starts singing lyrics like that, and they're dropping to their knees, and they are feeling the vibes, and Mr. Juanes is, their love that they go home and dream of. And then he protects them in their dreams, as in our last song. Because there you go. Yeah. We've come full circle. But this one, it was just so funny because my initial notes completely changed. Like, all right, scratch those out. They don't count. But I mean, like we say, even though we had to play this one more than once, we write our notes down on the first listen. And that's normally what we report on. But when you had to write your notes and then read the translations, it does change some of the songs where the ones that are talking about the impact of his country, they hit a little different. If it was some of those songs, if they were just a regular love song, they wouldn't have that same kind of power that they do when you know what he's actually singing about in these songs. So yeah, I would say it was a very interesting way to approach an album where you have to approach it twice and your thoughts and vibes do change. So they definitely did. So yes, let's hit our last category on this one. Skip this one. Any ones for you to skip in this album?
Again, no, I don't. There are some that I like, not as much, but they're still good songs. I hearken it back to Elf, and I hearken it back to Trollfest. There's not a song I would skip because, again, all of them got me to dance. It's some way or shape or form. I'm head bopping and I'm dancing and moving around. Like I said, stationary cha-cha. It's just a really good album to listen to. Even it does, like I said, it does give off early 2000 vibes, like we're talking about. Some Maroon 5. You definitely got some Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is that each song is catchy in its own way.
Yeah.
It may not be sometimes it may not be the chorus. It may be some of the lines just, and the way he sings, I think he's got an excellent voice.
Yeah.
So
the voice is strong, definitely.
Yeah, it brings each song into you. And some of them you just have to you kind of know what the themes are on some of the songs. You just have to go with them, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think but I say that in hindsight because when I first listened to it, there's some songs I had to go back and like kind of, just like you did with Damilo. You just have to kind of understand what it's singing about, and then I think once you get the meaning of the song, I think it puts it into perspective, and you can enjoy it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, again, one of the songs that I said was my favorite, To Guardian. I didn't like as a closer, but it's still a damn good song. And so there's not one I would skip. I would, like we said, maybe change the arrangement a little bit.
Retrack
it. But overall, no, there's not one I would skip on this at all.
Yeah. So I the skips kind of changed when I got to the lyrics. Para Two and More, that was so 2000s. We're just like, oh my gosh.
But I like that.
The most 2000s. I said it's just, it's, all those kind of 2000s,
Yeah, that was Maroon 5 right there.
Yeah, I said it's a Spanish Maroon 5 song, and it's, you read the lyrics and they kind of grow on you. And then To Guardian, that's his iris. It's like, okay, here's your iris. You got your big strings, and you could throw this into a movie. Like, I think Iris was in. I know it was in.
Iris was in City of Angels.
That's it.
Yeah, City of Angels.
Yes, because I know I remember hearing it in a movie. So there. Yeah, so I mean, this one could have been thrown in there at the same point, and it would have had the same impact. So it would have worked, even though it wasn't the same language. You'd understand what it was going for. So I would. Yeah, those strings are strong. They just kind of build and move, and it's once translated. I dropped the skips, and it's
You tell him.
April
He's a hater all the time.
I'm not hating. I love the 2000s, but I don't love the 2000s pop rock. That's when I got so deep into the indie scene that I became a friggin' snooty dick. But it's okay. You come around. You can embrace some of those ones.
That's the way I feel about the 90s, though.
I think I have a deeper dislike of the Goo Goo Dolls because I saw them in concert, and their singer's such a fucking gargantuan douchebag. He makes me angry when I hear him sing now. He's kind of your 2000s Morrissey. So I don't like that guy.
I will agree with that. I can like his music, but I do not like him as a person.
Yeah. So when I saw them and he was acting so awful, I just I can't get past it. So I hear him and I just hear his little tirades he was having on stage, and it's like, people paid money to see you, asshole. You don't need to be pissing and moaning about things when you're getting our money. So I mean, I love the 2000s. In fact, next week's album is from the 2000s, but what I would have been immersed in and listening to in the 2000s, and that was a lot of the post-hardcore, the emo, the indie rock. So I'm going down Built to Spill and Modest Mouse rabbit holes in the 2000s, listening to the Strokes and Interpol and stuff like that. But
I still listen to Modest Mouse. So
so do I. But that's when I first found him. I think I found him in around 2001 or so. Just kind of discovered them opening for a band, and then you kind of get in this whole discovery by going to see the bands, listening to them, finding them. Yeah, I'm seeing Modest Mouse later this year. They're playing with Flaming Lips, so it's like, that's my 2000s there. So.
If Flaming Lips is Oklahoma band, baby, that's one of our.
Oh yeah,
we have Flaming Lips Drive.
Yes, that's beautiful.
So
I got to drive down Flaming Lips Drive just once. So they're April saying it would be a good subject for a show. Great music, but horrible person. And that's hard because
that would be a long.
I can't get past the horrible person part of it. So I can't. I hear a Morrissey song and I just get irritated.
You almost turn it off.
Yeah, I do.
Listen, they're no Rob Thomas though. They're no Rob Thomas. Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20 is one of the greatest persons I have ever met in my entire life.
Yeah, he's the worst. You read his interviews, and he's just so full of himself. And
you don't like Rob Thomas, or are you talking about?
Oh no, not Rob Thomas. I'm thinking of oh gosh, what is the band? There's one particular guy. I don't know Rob Thomas. I'm thinking of another one, and they basically he talks all this mad shit about everybody. So now I gotta look it up. I gotta see what band I'm thinking of. It's not Matchbox 20.
No, it's Maroon 5.
No,
that does sound
not him. I gotta see what is it's oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember the band, but there's one particular guy who comes out in interviews and is just always the largest douche. And
oh man, if it's from the 2000s, it's from the 2000s. That could be.
It could be the 90s. Yeah, I think it's 90s actually, and it is. Let me see if I can find it. So forgive me for a moment because now it's bothering me.
You got. Oh yeah, Flaming Lips Drive. Oh, if you guys come to Oklahoma, yes, we will go to Flaming Lips Drive.
Yes,
I will take it. It's not a very long. It's not a very long street, but it's awesome, and it's right in the heart of Oklahoma City.
Cool. So yes, I'm still looking here.
One of our claims to fame.
Very cool.
It can't be Three Doors Down because he's again.
No.
I'm trying to think who you're.
Yeah, I'm trying. I got to find it because I listened to a whole podcast about him, and it was just insane how much he hates everybody. But yeah, I am striking out here because I'm having to dig through so much stuff. So, all right, I will put it in the comments when I discover which one I'm talking about. But yeah, if you read his interviews, oh gosh, it's not Rob Thomas. Like I said, it is. See, now I'm just so bothered. But while I look, why don't you tell me, are we keeping this one or putting it into the used bin?
Definitely keeping this one. Listen, again, it's not even a question of whether this is a great album or not, because it is. But there's no way I could throw this away again because I just relate to the music so well. It is you pulled it out at the beginning of the show. You vibe to this. You vibe, and again, if you don't even want to go translate the lyrics, you're still gonna feel every song on this album. I think in a certain way, and if you once you do go translate, go back and listen to it. I think you'll love it, and that's for anybody watching. And it's just such a good album. So I'm keeping it. It's staying in my my collection, and I will have this all on Spotify. I will have it on LP. I will find the CD. I will find the cassette. And if they make an 8-track of this thing, I'm getting the 8-track too. That's how good an album it is.
Yes, and
it is a 4-star for me.
The vinyl's really expensive. I don't have the vinyl. I need to hunt it down, like so many of the other ones where you have to kind of wait till it becomes affordable, because the last thing you want to do is spend $80 on a. I'll keep an eye out, see if it pops up in a used bin somewhere. So yeah, I am striking out on mine. But yeah, I'm keeping this one. It was a good listen, and I'll thank my student teacher Melissa for suggesting this one. So yes, we can drive down. That's April saying we can drive down Flaming Lips Drive and play Do You Realize? Yes, so we need to go there for sure and check that out one day. And yeah, like I said, I'm still bothered because I know it's one of these guys, like, oh man, they're the one of those kind of man. Oh well, we're gonna move on because it's gonna OCD me. But I will put it in the chat and I will text you when I figure it out, Dash. So
I was thinking the guys from Oasis.
Oh no, Oasis we know are freaking awful.
That's what I was thinking, but no, I can't. Fred Durst, he's huge.
Oh, we've already established him.
I don't know. Let me know.
Yeah.
If it is Rob Thomas, maybe but I just
I don't think it's him. It's not.
I absolutely adored that man.
Okay, it is. Yeah, I
let me know.
can't even think of his song, but no, it's not. I just keep thinking Closing Time, but it's not that. It's Oh well. All right. So now,
Oh,
oh, go ahead.
Before we did have a request, and I got to find the it's a Saturday morning cartoon album, but it's done by a bunch of I think 2000 bands.
Okay.
And is that it? Is that it? I think it's called it's Saturday Morning Cartoons Greatest Hits by Frente.
Okay.
I think is what it is.
Okay. Maybe we will get to, because we're getting loaded up with requests right now, so we will get to it when we get to it. It's not to say we won't, but it probably would see. I'm thinking more like August, around that time, because
yeah. Oh, it is. It's from the 90s. It's got like Semisonic.
I think the Ramones did the Spider-Man on that. I think I remember that one.
It is the Ramones. Yep, Ramones did that. You got Violent Femmes, Frente, Face to Face, Tripping Daisy. You got Sublime. I mean, this is sounds like a freaking awesome. Sorry, somebody sent that to me. So it's Saturday Morning's Greatest Hits by it's got all these different artists. So if you're out there, I will let them know that we're going to do it.
Sounds good.
Sometime
we will
August,
eventually
September,
sometime. Yes, sometime. So let's see. Next week, though, we have our first live band coming in. They're going to come and join us on the show, and that is Bear versus Sharks. Let me get off the skip this one and get this up here, and it is our next week. We're going to be doing Terror Hawk by Bear versus Shark. It's just hitting its 20-year-old anniversary. So it's 20 years old this year, and it is. I've listened to it because when it comes to a band that we're bringing it in, that is something where I have to listen to it a lot because I have to prepare the interview questions and everything else. But
absolutely,
yes, we will have our first ever. We've had bands contribute. Last week we talked with Trollfest. They provided an interview which was completely wild and fun. We've had Mr. Gnome give us a live interview. Well, not a live interview, but a recorded interview. But next week we have Mark and Derek from Bear versus Shark coming to join us, and it should be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. This is one of my favorite albums. We're talking about 2000s. This is what I would have been playing in the 2000s because this came out in 2005, and this is the scene that I was really immersed in. So I picked it, and when it's kind of first impression for Dash because he's coming into this one blind, but for me, it's one of my favorite albums. I really look forward to talking about this with the band and talking about their experiences, and now kind of revisiting it because they're doing a 20th anniversary tour where they're playing the album in its entirety. So taking a break, they broke up, they disappeared, but coming back to an album 20 years later, what's that like for them? So we'll be able to actually discuss that with them next week. So that should be great. I can't wait for that one. And then we actually have another band that'll be joining us later this month, actually.
Yeah.
Or later next month. It'll be in June. So yeah, we have some good stuff going on.
Amazing, and the crowd was
we do.
All right, and then Third Eye Blind. That's the band.
Third Eye Blind. Yes. So yes, I don't disagree with that.
That's the one with the singer who's a monumental douche and joins our Hall of Fame, our Mount Rushmore of assholes. Him, Fred Durst, and
Morrissey. And who else did we have on there? Or we could add the one we just said.
See, now we're both losing it. But yes.
Yeah, we'll have a huge Mount Rushmore, I'm sure. But
yeah. So yes, good albums, bad people. our category that we could definitely live in for a little bit. So yes, let's now do as always. We're gonna hit a few of our sponsors and take a look at their videos. So yes, now we're just we can play it back. But let me get here, find our first sponsor, and that is this one. All right. So our next sponsor is Mr. Fishley. I think he closes tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So if you are planning on getting that album, or not that album, if you're planning on getting his Kickstarter, you definitely want to get there as quickly as you can, because I'm just looking right now. I'm going to put the link in there so we can see that. So yeah, I'm just going to grab the link. I'll play the video and grab the link right now because time is almost up to get Fish's Kickstarter.
Yeah, I think
Beyond the World We Know is a place where reality bends and time stands still. A place where legends, fairy tales, and nightmares are real. A world where legends are born and destinies collide. Alice has spent her life lost in an interdimensional rift known as Wonderland, and it forged her into a deadly bounty hunter. With her ancient clockwork guardian Big Ten by her side, they hunt the things that stalk the shadows of Wonderland. Alice Lost in Wonderland issues 1 and 2 launch May 6 on Kickstarter. Follow along at GoMrFish.com.
All right, so I just added that one to the comments. So definitely get on there. It closes. Let me see, because I'm a backer, so I just went in to my
I think it's tomorrow night.
And it closes in 44 hours. So still got time.
Ooh,
you have almost 2 days to get in there and back Fish's project. It looks great. I haven't read issue 1, but I ordered 1 and 2. He's funded, but any comic creators will tell you funding just gets you the printing, and it would be great if he could recuperate some of the other expenses, because indie comics or any comics are not cheap to make. So support Fish. He's a great guy with great books. So get out there, buy that one. You got 2 more days, almost 2 more days. So get in there and support Mr. Fish Lee. And he'll be on my show Saturday. So tune in on Saturday, and we have some fun topics picked, and Fish will be joining us. So Fish and Matt from last week. So Saturday's show should be a blast, kind of promoting the Saturday show, because it'll be my last live Saturday show for a while. I'll be at Nashville Comic Con the week after that, then going on a cruise. So next week will be the last week with guests for quite some time, although Nashville is going to be a blast because Carissa Grant's going to be there, Greg Mokwin's going to be there, and Aaron Wroblewski is going to be there. So I get to meet all those people in the flesh. Really looking forward to it. And yeah, just hanging in Nashville. So can't go wrong with that. So one more ad to play. Check it out. All right. So
I'm looking
thank
forward
you
to that
so
one, too.
much for tuning in. Yeah, that looks like I've been watching the trailer for a while, but I know once it's up, I will be getting on that one. I don't know if it's up now. I have to.
It's up. It is up.
Is it? Okay.
I'm back.
So I will definitely have to get in and back that one. Backfish, you got 2 days to do it. And next week, Bear versus Shark. It is going to be great. Terrorhawk, I love this album. This is the good 2000s we're about to be talking about. So tune in. Join us on Saturday. Will be my last live show for Saturday Morning Comic Talk for a while. But yeah, like I said, next week, I'm so excited about this. This is going to be a fun experience. And definitely go and listen to Terrorhawk before next week. So if you want to talk to the band about something, you want to ask them a question about the album, you get that opportunity. So go on Spotify, whatever your listening platform is, play Terrorhawk and be ready to ask the band anything you want. And they'll be here to answer questions live with us during our show. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Next week. Bye.
Click on the tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave